Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for August 4th, 2019. Jesus. It's already
35th.
August. Yeah, July 35th. There we go. July 35th, 2019. With your host, SpaceBreaker2448, and our rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
Oh my god, it's already August.
I can't believe you did that.
I know.
Although,
Well,
I don't know what's worse, the fact that you did that or the fact that it took me a good hot second to figure out what 31 plus 4 was.
I mean, I'm an engineering major and I can barely do math in my head, so don't feel too bad.
I was sitting there, I was like, oh right, 35, got it. It's like I just drew a blank.
You know what's worse? You know how I picked up 2 games for Switch to stream?
Yeah.
In like the last month?
Yeah, and how you're like already done with one?
Well, I was meaning more of, there's a third one at the end of the month that I kind of want to stream too.
Which one?
Astral Chain comes out 30th.
Oh. That's probably why I forgot about it. Okay.
Yeah. Like, it hits all the buttons for me, and I'm super interested in it, so.
I'm not saying I'm not interested in it. I'm just saying it's not one that everyone seems to be just on edge for. So it's one of those, I feel like it's going to get swept under a rug a little prematurely.
Yeah, which is really bad because A, it's from Platinum, who do amazing things across the board.
I mean, there was that one Legend of Korra game that was meh.
Okay, 1 out of 12 games.
I mean, I do have to give them the same caveat that I give Ubisoft. A lot of their stuff is pretty good. It's they're not flawless though.
But yeah, like 1 out of 12 is still amazing. Still like an amazing wreck of just being like home runs versus
I'm not arguing
good
that
games.
fact.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those. I do have to, because of that, give them that same caveat because it's like, nope, not anymore. You're not perfect. You had your flub.
But it's Platinum. It's a great looking action game on the Switch. And like, if you're interested in Bayonetta 3, like, why don't you pick this up? It will tide you over to Bayonetta 3, I guarantee it.
But see, I feel like that's what the problem is too.
People want Bayonetta, not cop.
Well, not so much that. Everything else you use to pretty much kind of spin the game right there.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a few games that flow just like that on the Switch. So it's one of those, it's a good game, but it's in a sea of good games too. So it's like,
Yeah. I will probably be picking it up, depends on how things are shaking out right around there, so I might be picking it up. I might stream it, I don't know. Like, Fire Emblem will be nowhere close to being done by then.
But Ultimate Alliance is.
Right, but I'm replacing it with Yakuza 0 because, like, I like playing Yakuza 0, so I might as well just swap it to Wednesdays and just keep going. And I'm also pretty...
as a complete joke. Could do a Tuesday stream. Yeah, no. I would, like I said, saying it jokingly.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I did it once because I wanted to play Three Houses because, god damn it, Three Houses is so good. Damn it. I don't know what it is about Three Houses that is just hitting all the right buttons for me, but like, it might just be because I'm having to stream it that is keeping me from tailing off on it like I've done with the last couple of Fire Emblem games, but I'm staying invested. And I think it's just because, like, it's not mission to mission to mission to mission to mission. We have those breakups and missions with like all the stuff at the monastery and like upgrading my units, but not having to battle to upgrade them. So I'm not spending like 20 to 30 minute chunks doing combat. Plus, they have the rewind feature that makes sure that when I fuck up, I'm not resetting the map and redoing that map again. Which means I'm redoing a 20 to 30 minute chunk of a mission, a chunk of a map. Because you saw on how the last stream I died. Like I had a unit die like 3 times in a row.
I don't think I was really paying attention.
Oh, okay. Towards the end of like the last map I did for the last stream, I ended up in a situation where I kept having a unit die, but the rewind let me kind of reset that turn and try again. Well, reset part of the turn. In order for me to figure out a way to save him. But bear in mind, if I didn't have that feature, I'd be resetting the map. And assuming if I died the same amount of times as I did, like, without the rewind feature, that's 3 resets of the exact same map at the exact same point. It'd probably just be 1 reset, but even then, I am replaying a mission that I was playing for probably 20 minutes or so. Again. That sucks after a while.
Yeah, it really does.
It's probably why I'm liking Three Houses, is that it's giving me that flexibility. Just be like, okay, I can fuck up, but if I fuck up, I can rewind time a little bit and like unfuck it. So yeah, that is me being happy about Three Houses. Also, I forgot to do an important thing on the notes. I realized.
What did you forget?
I forgot the dates.
Oh. Wait. No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Those aren't the right dates.
Oh.
Those are the last. No, I use the last notes and then update them accordingly.
Ah.
So I open up. So for these notes, I opened up 2 weeks ago's notes, cleared out all the spaces, put in the episode titles, and did the renumbering. I forgot to put in the dates. Otherwise, that's it. That's how the notes are done. That way, I keep the double bar thing because that's been finicky as fuck for me, and I don't want to try to replicate it again and again and again and again. But I will update the dates for me real quick, just so I don't forget to read them off. But this week, folks, we're taking a look at episodes 29 through 32 of O's. So we are, like, in the nice, good, meaty story chunk of the episode of the series, as you probably noticed. How are you feeling going in?
You probably don't want that answer, seeing as how the last episodes that we watched. But, no, I honestly kind of was glad to get back to the actual story and not the, we have to shoehorn this in.
Well, did you expect as much story as you got?
I feel like the first two-parter, yes. The second one I felt like was something that I would have felt like at least would have been a little farther out. Like, not right here kind of deal.
Especially since it's a Final Form debut?
Yeah.
Just like, wham, Final Form debut just slapped you in the face, like, here it is.
Yeah, that was one of those that was like, well, that was real quick and sudden. But yeah, I kind of feel like the first arc, yeah, that was probably what I feel like it's in a good spot, but at the same time I also kind of feel like maybe it should have been done before this, but at the same time I can understand.
Yeah. I can tell you about Geo this week because it's subbed before we get into the episodes.
Speaking of Geo, I found out that I was apparently like 5 episodes behind.
Oh, goody.
Because I was still in the whole Another World garbage, and I'm like, oh, I felt
so
that far back.
So have you caught up at all from that point, or are you just like done?
No, I plan on catching up, but I've only watched, I think, 1 episode so far, so I'm still a month behind.
So you're still in alternate timeline hell.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, based on what you said, I'm thinking you are exactly in line with Molinus's reviews on the Tokusatsu Network, because he just put out an article recapping that, like, up to that episode you probably just watched.
That's funny.
Yeah. Because it's the first to be Another World, right?
No.
Okay, so you're 1 ahead.
I think it was episode 42 was the last one I watched.
Okay, so you're
that right?
About it. Yeah. Because his article ends on 41, and that's the first of the 3-parter.
Yeah. Geo's a thing.
Yeah. So, broad spectrum of what happened this week. We had White Walls come back as a Dark Rider, but he is apparently not a Dark Rider because he just wants to save Gates. So he works with our heroes to save Gates from the Another World. Let's see. The plan, it essentially goes to the point of, we need Waz and Tsukiyomi in Another World that White Waz sends them to after he is killed and then revived, because apparently once you're brought back the first time by the mechanics, you're just on a respawn timer now, to where Schwartz can just bring you back whenever.
That feels extremely plot convenient.
Probably. Anyway, then Sogo has to bait out Eternal's Rider Kick with the 26 memories. Because, by the way, he also has all 26 T2 Gaia memories with him when he got revived. So he does a Rider Kick with all of them that Sogo has to endure while activating Trinity that allows him and Eternal to be transported to Another World, and then Sogo to essentially shove Eternal's Rider Kick into, I guess, the wall of the world, and that blows up Another World. By the way, this saves everyone because it drops them out of the Other World into the proper world. And that also blows up all the Dark Riders, which Eternal was like, hey, cool, I get to go back to being dead with my friends. Yay. I'm not such a bad guy. Bullshit. Oh, except, no, it doesn't. Because I guess there are multiple Another Worlds, because he still has more Dark Riders on him. Like the original 4 that he had to start with. Even though more people than the ones we saw got dropped out of another world. So I don't know. I don't know where those Dark Riders ended up. Anyway. So that happened. So now Gates and Waz are busy fighting those another riders, and Sogo is having a conversation with Schwartz about what it means to be a king. And Schwartz is like, fuck you, I want to be king because I have all the power. And Sogo's like, you don't deserve it. And then, like, Aqua shows up to help, but then Schwartz does time freeze. And also, Aura shows up and does time freeze because Schwartz gave her back her powers. Except Aura tries to use them to kill Schwartz, and Schwartz goes, fuck you, I have Decades Dimensions, which means I can just put one over my chest so the blade that you just shot out goes through it. So fuck you. And he kills Aura just by kicking her in the face. So she's dead. So then Sogo tries to fight Schwartz in another Decade. That doesn't go well for him. It also doesn't go well for Aqua because he just straight up kills Aqua and Aqua's dead. And Schwartz straight up says, if you kill me, the timeline I'm from dies with me. So Tsukiyomi dies with me. So either you die, you kill me, or you become Omagio and find another Omagio and somehow that fixes it. I don't know how that works. How is Schwartz irreparably tied to his timeline? You're bluffing. I know you're bluffing. Fuck off. Sogo, kill him. I swear to God, Schwartz is bluffing. Because that sounds like horse shit. So, do you want to know what's going to happen next week based off the preview?
What?
Well, the ride watches are being blown up, which is causing the monsters from those series to show up, which is where Chase is coming back. Also, Tsukasa is probably dying because we see him, I guess, dead in the preview. And guess who shows up as another GO2?
Who?
The End. So the End's back as another GO2 to steal something else, I guess. So I guess since the ride watches are blowing up, I guess Sogo doesn't have a Grand Geo anymore. I can't wait for the show to prove me wrong since it's broken every other rule it's used.
We know it will.
Yeah. So, are you excited to catch up?
No.
Okay.
It's just one of those that I've suffered through this longer than I did Ghost, so I guess I owe the show to at least finish it.
Yeah. I just want the show to end.
But is it bad that I'm kind of like, maybe I ought to give Ghost a second chance? Because, yeah, if I can deal with this complete and utter trash, then it can't be that bad.
I'm willing to give it a second chance. I'm willing to rewatch Ghost from episode 1 forward, because I honestly don't remember where I left off.
I don't know if I'd be that well invested in it, but yeah.
Granted, I've seen someone comment about how people are mad that other people want Geo to be over with. And I'm like, why are you mad? Why are you upset that people want this show to be over with that they don't like? That just sounds extremely dumb to me.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Anyway, we'll talk about Good Writer now. So, episodes 29 through 32 originally aired April 10th, 17th, 24th, and May 1st of 2011. Pretty much the rest of our April block of episodes, plus the first of the May episodes. I think we're on that track for now. And I believe also we are still in line with the DVD releases of the series, so...
Kind of funny.
Yeah. I also find it hilarious that their DVD releases are only 4 episodes per DVD when I just look at that and go, you could put more episodes on a DVD.
Yeah, you can only put 2 episodes on it.
Like, that just sounds weird. Like, alright, it is 4 episodes per DVD. We have DVDs that can hold more episodes than this. Right? We have DVDs that can have more than like 2 hours of show plus bonus features, right? Or is that a marketing? Or is that or is that like a thing with Japan and DVDs? Because I think the anime company Aniplex have DVD releases for anime. They recently announced a Fate one for Fate Unlimited Blade Works, which I think is I don't remember how many episodes it was. Let me look that up real quick. That is about 25 episodes plus an OVA, so about like 26 episodes. Do you want to guess how much money it is?
How much?
$242.
Whew.
That is a stupid amount of money per episode for the regular release of this series. Not any fancy special edition, no, a regular release of the series on Blu-ray. $242, so seeing a lot of that for anime releases makes me very much question like Japanese DVD releases of being nonsense. Anyway, shall we get into the episodes then?
I guess we shall.
We're kicking things off with episode 29, The Big Sister, The Doctor, and the Truth About Ankh. I just wanted to make a note about the recap because we usually get recaps at the beginning of the first of 2-parters. The second half just recaps the first episode, while the first episode recaps the arc of that 2-episode in general. I love how it just completely ignores the actual events of those episodes and just goes over the general premise of those.
Yeah.
Nothing mentioned of those nonsense fourth wall breaking episodes. No, just general stuff.
Just completely amazing.
Yeah. We open up with Ankh off looking for the person that has his medals because he can sense it. So he's more or less trying to feel it out. Edgy wakes up knowing this and is off to go look for him to deliver him something that we'll see later. We got the Maki having his birthday forcibly celebrated by Kagami and Chiyoko. Or not Chiyoko. Why did I say Chiyoko? Satanaga. I don't know why I can mix those two up. More or less, Kagami lays out that he knows everything, because of course he does. He always knows everything. And practically threatens Maki with the idea of, you get in my way, you will not last. You know that, right? But Maki is unfazed by all this, takes it in stride, and his puppet is blowing out the candle, which is confusing Satanaka on the side, which I guess is providing the comedy for the scene. We got to him visiting his sister's grave, more or less collecting his thoughts over the whole situation, when Kazari drops by to continue to be a dick, because Kazari is a dick to everybody.
I mean...
Except one character.
Of course.
Except the one character later, but we'll get there. But Kazari hasn't absorbed, I think, 4 core medals that he has in his possession at the moment?
Yep.
And Maki wants him to hurry up, because Kazari's like, no, I'm not your puppet. I'm not your container. I will do what I goddamn well please. So, here's a yummy for your birthday. So now we have a yummy powered by Maki's desire for hugs, I guess.
Hugs from sister?
Yes. And our cold open ends on the other character that has Ank's arm finally speaking. Coming out of the opening, we see the Yummy is hugging the grave very forcibly and breaking it, which makes Maki extremely upset, because of who would not be upset in this situation? And it runs off. So, yay. We got the Chiyoko and Hina handing out advertisements for the restaurant, because they're looking for more business, since they're advertising their masquerade or their carnival theme for today. I really have to wonder, like, where does Chiyoko have all these outfits stored and stuff? Also, is this theme just an excuse to have the cast in just different costumes, like, every week? Because I feel like that's more what this is than anything.
I feel like I have to agree with you on that. And I wonder if it's a case of they got a pretty decent sized budget and they're like, you know what can we do? Outfits. All the outfits.
Yeah, let's not put the budget into the stuff that matters for the series. No, let's put it into the one-off bits that won't matter next week.
I mean, to be fair, did they really have to throw much budget into the story to make it any better?
There's one thing, and it's only because somebody did something later with it, but we'll get to that point. But otherwise, no, not really. Weirdly enough, we're not in the era of Rider when we start reusing suits and stuff for shit. Like, I don't think we hit it that bad until, like, Gaim, I think. When we start reusing stuff super hard. Or, at least, it's very noticeable we start reusing material.
I mean, I guess there could be a technical argument about, well, a lot of O's forms is reusing.
Well, that's by design.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I guess there could be that argument. But
right.
It's not a good argument.
Yeah, it's more like O's is by design meant to be like really easy to to make multiple suits, and also swap out the suits or swap around the parts on the suit. When we get into the later series, it's obvious that like this is supposed to be for one thing, but we're reusing it, repainting it, and using it for something else. That's not by design. That's more of what this is the stuff we have. What can we do with it? Instead of this is what we want. This is how we're designing it. Anyway, we got the Edgy. He's found Ankh and is bringing him an ice pop to make him feel better and to help, along with a whole bunch of other fruits and stuff, which I don't know why he brought them. Ankh only ever eats.
Like, that's the only thing I can think, because him and Hina both keep trying to get him to eat something besides it. And I feel like at this point, that's just the thing.
Yeah. But Onk's annoyed by this because he's breaking his concentration, but he takes the ice pop anyway. Because, fuck you, I'm going to feed my addiction at least. I don't care. We see Goto and Date poking around, or doing some range practice with the Burst Busters before Goto heads out to go get his job back. Or a job at the company back. As we'll find out later.
Yeah.
But then we see the Yummy attack in the little square area that Hina and Kyoko were in earlier, passing out their flyers. So I guess he's attacking people that have the flyers. We see Maki is watching all of this and also reminiscing about his sister. We'll get into like the full backstory later when most of it is revealed next episode. But for now, we're getting tidbits of his backstory here and there, and it will culminate at the end of finding out, oh, this is not what we thought it was. Which is why I was upset about the implications in 999 and 1000.
Yeah, I see that now, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes it even worse. Now that makes me wonder, did you even read the script going forward? Because, oh my god.
Well, there's also the Kugami bit from there. Now you see why I was upset about that, because I'm like, no, fuck off. You do know.
Yeah.
You are entirely responsible for the current status quo, Kugami. Fuck off. Yeah, Date engages the Yummy, and he's fighting the panda killer whale Yummy, I think. I think it's supposed to be a killer whale.
I think, maybe.
But Edgy and Ankh are en route to intercept, but Ankh catches wind of the rogue greed, because I'm just going to say it's a greed. Like, I'm sure you by now could have figured out it is a greed of some variety since it's producing Yummy.
And quite frankly, the show's handed enough to where you can pretty much have a good idea of what the twist is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to say it in case someone was watching along with this later, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to what the twist is. But as they're chasing after the greed, or the scent of the greed at least, we see Date trying to fight off the Yummy and is failing and almost hits a couple civilians in the process. So it gets away and is now going to target Kyoko because he saw Kyoko, because I guess the restaurant was nearby this. Cutting back to Ankh and Edgy, they run into Kazari, who is also interested in this because now we are getting more drops of red feathers that, spoilers, are Ankh's.
Yeah.
And he's looking for a fight. And god damn it if we don't have a scene with Ankh and Edgy that perfectly embodies their relationship right here. Kazari wants to fight, and Ankh and Edgy duck behind a pillar. Ankh, with medals in hand, mind you, is standing shoulder to shoulder with Edgy behind this pillar, still tosses the medals up in the air, and forcing Edgy to jump up and catch them. You are standing right next to him, Ankh. You literally don't have to throw them like this. You're doing it on purpose. I know you're doing it on purpose. And I can't help but love you're doing it on purpose. Because then it becomes unusual when you don't do that. So Edgy's fighting Kazari in Tajador form at the moment. We got the Goto at this point, he's getting rehired, but not as captain of the Right Vendor Squad, which we haven't seen in several dozen episodes, actually, so it's not like they'd be relevant anyway. Instead, he is Satonaka's assistant in cake testing and whatever else she does at the company.
Apparently, she's in charge of birthdays.
I think she just does whatever Kagami wants her to do at this point.
Well, the reason I say that is because, as we see later, Goto is updating the birthday records. So it's like, maybe she's just in charge of cake testing / birthdays.
Also, I have to wonder, like, why would those need to be updated?
Yeah.
Unless you've got a bunch of new hires.
Yeah.
Like, I would assume that would be a thing you would know off the bat.
And okay, to this I'm also gonna say that was not just a cover so Goto could get to a computer. No, that was legit. He was doing that and then tried.
Yeah.
It's like
no, he was.
That was a legit task he was told to do.
Yeah. No, he was doing it for a while, and then he was like, "Oh, now I can go search around files and stuff and try to figure out passwords." As the computer is going at him, and I'm just like, "Why is no one hearing this?" Goto, you might want to turn mute on.
Well, he couldn't find Control-Alt-Mute.
Apparently. Cutting back to the fight, Kazari and Eiji are fighting until Ankh arrives. Specifically, Ankh in monster form. Well, mostly monster form. As we see, there are bits of him missing. Specifically, the helmet in his right hand. Yes, right hand.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like the whole right side has been damaged a little bit.
Yep. Just to explain it a little bit, this is the rest of Ankh. Officially speaking, this is dubbed Ankh Lost. Or as I'm going to call him, Lonk.
Not to be confused with Blank.
Yes. Yeah, this is Lonk, folks. I'm calling him this, so I'm not going Unk every time these two have a conversation. These two are on screen with each other. No. Our Unk is Unk. This Unk is Lonk. More or less, he is a confused and lost child in the way he acts, and he's just attacking whatever in order to get his core medals back. So he attacks Eiji and pretty much counters all of Eji's moves in Tajador, which should tell you just how powerful he is.
And which also makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And also in how, like, mirrored the moves are. Which is one of those, like, more visual nods to the fact that all of the combos are copies of the breed's powers. Cutting away from this, we see Maki try to intercept the Yummy with his coat full of Candroids, including the new Patera Candroid. Totally not foreshadowing for a later bit.
Yeah.
And it's also totally not like it's purple, which is important. And also, have you ever taken note of the fact of how many times Eiji wears purple before this?
Not really, no.
He wears purple before these episodes. And if you'll notice, most of the colors he wears are the colors of the combos he has.
Huh.
Yeah, his regular clothes usually line up to one of the combos in some way. It helps that those colors are pretty broad, but yeah, he's worn purple before. Anyway, Maki fails at this because he's attacking a Yummy with Candroids. This is not going to go well for you, especially since he doesn't bust out all of them. Only like 3. Bravo, Maki. But Date soon arrives to fight off the Yummy, which leaves Maki alone to be discovered by Chiyoko and Hina, and they are there to help him. But I believe Date and the Yummy fight for a little bit on the overpass until the Yummy gets away again. So Date is once more back to square one. Cutting back to Edgy, he loses his fight to Lonk. And now Unk, a bit pissed at this entire situation of being like, no, you are not me. I am me. Fuck you. Get in my body. Tries to reabsorb Lonk and is losing, as we see cell metals being plucked out of him. And a pretty good number, too. And that is where we end episode 29. Coming into episode 30, The King, the Panda, and the Flames of the Memory. We see Edgy save Unk, and then uses a combo to get them both the fuck out of there because, yeah, we're not sticking around for this. Nope. We see Kazari take in Lunk, and he's going to start teaching him the ways of being a bad guy because Kazari's a dick.
He's except for Lonk.
Yep. He's gonna take this opportunity to get a minion. And then Maki shares his backstory with Chiyoko as she drives him home in his little beetle. Which I don't remember if this was a green screen or them actually driving on the road. This is also green screened. But Maki's backstory is essentially he had a really nice, loving sister that gave him the doll, and apparently, I guess, loved dolls because she has like all these cabinets and stuff with dolls, as we see in the background. But then she was going to get married and gave him the doll that is the doll that Maki has all the time. And then she died in a fire. And then we'll get to the fucked up part later. Because there's more.
Yeah.
So that's our cold open. Coming out of that, we see Edgy make it back to the Kuskasir with Ankh as they try to recuperate with the help of Hina. Date even drops by to talk about the Yummy and then sees Ankh passed out practically, and he's like, oh, that's why you weren't there. Well, the day's going to be fun. We check in with Kazari real quick to see him to continue to tour Lonk and even help Lonk get a human form, which is that of a child in color-appropriate clothes. Coincidentally enough, that was passing by. So I guess that confirms that, oh, they just took the form of people that passed by them.
Yeah.
I assume. Checking back in with Maki and Chiyoko, they arrive at his, I guess, childhood home. We get the rest of the backstory I talked about. We only got like half of it, like cold open. This is the other half of it. We're not to the fucked up part yet. Not yet. Checking in with Goto, we see that he is busy inputting birth dates into the system, which might allow him to get access to more info because him and Date are trying to figure out like the bigger picture here since, you know, Gambi seems to always be one step ahead of everybody, so maybe we need to figure out what the fuck's going on. This point, I'll just get into the rest of Maki's fucked up backstory because, it's sprinkled throughout the episode, but essentially, instead of the loving sister we had, she was a bit verbally abusive and an asshole and actually didn't love him and pretty much just gave him the doll just so he could fuck off when she got married.
Yeah.
And then Maki killed her because he's the one that set the fire. Yeah. Bear in mind, Maki is, what, like 8 at this point?
I think so, yeah.
A child just committed murder. Of a very brutal murder, mind you, by lighting the room on fire. Which, by the way, that room caught on fire real fucking quick. For being started by a candelabra.
Very true.
Checking back in with Edgy. He wants to borrow some cell metals from Date to help Ankh, and he promises to make it up to him. But Date does agree to this on the condition that all the cards get put on the table and Ankh tells them the whole story. So now we get the entire story of the original O's, the Greeds, Ankh, everything told between Ankh and Kagami, because he's also telling Goto all this because he found out. He was like, hey Goto, you want to know? You want to know the truth? Come up to the library and I'll tell you everything. So as he's showing him all the relics and stuff of the original O's. So the basics of it are, the original O's was a king who, I believe, commissioned the alchemist to create the core metals. And removing the 10th core metal ended up creating the Greeds. And they, fought against the king. Except one, which was Ankh. He sided with the king. And in his efforts, the king ended up winning and taking core metals from all of them. But the king ended up betraying Ankh and taking his core metals as well. And then he scanned all those metals he had at once in his lust for power, because he was an endless, bottomless pit of desire and greed. But that was too much for him, and he ended up becoming the very vessel that the Greeds were sealed in all the way back in episode 1. And the additional part we get is that Ankh, the hand we've seen him all series in, was the part that got sealed. The rest of him did not get sealed in that vessel. Instead, it was more or less like self-sealed without Ankh's consciousness, because the metals Ankh has do contain his consciousness, which is the part that I didn't get into way back when that I hinted at. So technically, Mazul and Gamel are not dead. They are
just
I wouldn't say trapped.
disembodied.
Yeah, they're disembodied. Their consciousness are currently in the metals that I believe end up in Ankh's hands later. I don't remember what metals he gets specifically, but it's a head metal that each of their consciousness are in. So, with that in play, the rest of Ankh's body more or less wrapped itself up and sealed itself until Kogami found it. And then pulled out the metal that he tried to give Edgy all the way back when. And that ended up releasing Long. Creating an almost, I guess, pseudo-greed in a case. Or like a rebirth for Ankh in the form of Lonk.
I think you might be more closer to calling it a pseudo-greed.
Yeah.
Especially the way we see the pseudo-yummies. Lonk feels very more akin to that.
Yeah. So Kagami knew where the rest of the red core metals were this entire time, and fuck you 99 and 1000. No, Maki would not lie to them outright. He would sidestep the question, as he always does. Hell, he wouldn't even promise that information. So that is where we are with all the backstories. For one, we'll get to it. Also, I love how Kagami is absolutely happy by all of this because, again, he cannot fucking help himself by creating more problem. And there's a reason why. Would you like to take a guess as to why?
Why?
Oh, I'm not going to say it. I was wondering if you had an idea of why.
I don't know right yet.
Okay. A detail that is revealed later extremely explains everything he does. And to the point I'm like, wow. Yeah, that explains everything. With you. Yeah, when all this is in play, Date ends up heading out after the Yummy. Ankh and Edgy are not far behind, as Ankh is now better since he got some replacement cell medals. Edgy ends up stopping Ankh for a quick second to ask what would happen if the two of them were to fuse back together. And Ankh pretty much just goes, well, the weaker one would disappear. Well, I'm just gonna say, think about what the medal counts would be between the two of them.
Yeah.
There's a problem. Lonk has more of the core medals than Ankh does. Which is why he was losing off the bat.
Yeah.
It's probably only sheer forces of will that he didn't get absorbed immediately, since I think he would only have, like, what, one core medal on him?
Yeah.
Whereas Lonk, I believe, should have the other 6.
The other 5, wouldn't it be?
No, it's 9. Should be totaling 9.
Yeah. And Ankh had 4 in total.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's fine.
Edgy
My bad.
was holding
I
the
can't
3
count.
at the time. That's why I was like,
Don't mind me, I can't count. I added 1 for, like, no reason.
6 means that they got the 10th one again.
I mean, there's a thing about the 10th one, but we'll get there. Anyway, Date finally tracks down the Yummy and fights it as Edgy and Ankh arrive. 2 of them tag team it and end up taking it down. With the continued insistence that Edgy keeps to stop using full combos, which is weird because that's not why we see the original O's go out of control. He goes out of control by scanning too many medals, like well beyond 3.
But I feel like that's a misconception.
Yeah.
I feel like Ankh wasn't very clear in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as they're concerned, it was a case of the original O's managed to scan every medal, and that's what caused him to go out of control. Not that he did it all at once.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, is something Edgy will not do in the series. Do not worry, that won't happen.
I kind of would have figured that wouldn't happen.
Right. We check back in with Maki as by now, at this point, we get the full backstory, so all of the fucked up shit involving that. We even see the room where she died is currently boarded up, and as Maki sees it, it is still on fire and still burning to this day. Even though that's not the case, but that's what Maki's seeing. But all of this finally pushes him to fully commit to his plans of ending the world. Because, as his sister says, no one is complete until they're dead. Which is a bit morbid and fucked up. So now he is full heal and working with Kazari and Lunk. And they are headquarters out of his home, which only Chiyoko knows. And she knows nothing. So I don't think even Hina knows who Maki is, technically. I don't think she knows who Maki is.
So.
But yeah, that ends off the two-parter. So how'd you feel about these 2 episodes?
I feel like that was long overdue.
Yeah.
And I also feel like Blanc's reveal almost didn't hold as much weight. Mainly because we have hardcore teased the other arm.
Yeah.
I mean, I get they wanted to kind of use that as breadcrumbs up to the reveal and kind of make it seem as if maybe Ankh got split into pieces as opposed to just 2 pieces.
Yeah, like Ankh assumes that like his body just fell apart in the cell metals and core metals.
And I feel like if we'd gotten the explanation and then the reveal, that might have held a little bit different weight. Because if we'd gotten the explanation earlier, it would have been a case of, oh, well, maybe he was right. Maybe his body did fall to pieces, but not the same way he's thinking it did. And then lead into the reveal of, oh, wait, his body didn't fall apart at all. I mean, I feel like doing something like that might have held a little more weight with how they did, but the whole teasing it, and then lo and behold, most of the body's there, and then we find out that he thought that the body disappeared. I feel like all that, I feel the order was a little out of whack as far as being able to do a better reveal, but I don't think it was that bad either. Like, it's one of those minor complaint kind of deals.
There's actually more to Ankh's backstory at this point, but none of it is going to come in series. The rest of it is actually through the O's novel, which, weirdly enough, the O's novel is split into 3 sections.
Honestly,
there's
that's not weird at all.
I know. Well, it's the only one that actually does that. It actually commits to the gimmick. It's the only one that actually does it. That's what makes it weird, is that it's the one by omission. Well, the first part is more...
It was one of those that, before you even said that, I was like, yeah, I could see them doing something like that, just stick to the gimmick.
The first one is Ankh's section, which details more of the backstory and also details, like, why he joined up with the king and stuff, which essentially revolves around, you know how Edgy couldn't save a girl?
Yeah.
Guess who also couldn't help a girl in the past? Ankh ended up coming across a blind girl who wanted to see a beautiful scenery. And he more or less befriended her and created a condor yummy out of her desire, which that condor yummy ended up going out and gouging people's eyes out and bringing them back to her.
To effectively heal her eyes.
Uh-huh.
Much like we saw with the boxer.
Uh-huh. But guess what happens?
I take it as it goes horribly, horribly wrong.
Yep. Guess what the first thing she sees is? Pile of corpses with all their eyes gouged out. And she loses her goddamn mind and goes insane. And that also ends up making her lose her desire, so the yummy falls apart. But But before she dies, she asks Ankh to be the king of birds, which is what she called him before, and protect the weak. So Ankh feeling extremely bad because of all this, because yeah, you just fucked up this small little child's life forever. Bravo, Ankh. He ends up joining up the Greeds to try to take down the king. But they do try.
I feel like that is so in character for Ankh.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, all this comes through the novel that came out about a year or so later after the series ended. This came out November 30th, 2012. And it's actually not written by Yasuko Kobayashi. It's written by Nobuhiro Mori, I think the secondary writer of the series.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. But the rest of the Greeks try to create like super big yummies that are on their same level to beat the king, but it doesn't work. Which Ankh ends up revealing that he's been working with the king all along, but the king ends up betraying him, and that leads to the thing that's already been explained in the series. So I assume Ankh's plan was to act like he was betraying them in order to betray the king.
And then it all backfired horribly bad.
Yep.
As honestly, quite a lot of Ankh's plans do.
Yep, and there's an extra note about that's put in the novel that will hint at a thing involving certain things for later, but yeah, we'll get there. But for reference, the other two sections the second section is just a random goofy segment involving Date and the bursts. And the final section is meant to be a paralleling section as we see Edgy post Megamax. Using the combos, using all of the full combos that he has differently than how the king used them, because the king used them to kind of conquer and destroy and like be a tyrant, whereas Edgy uses them for benevolent means. Yeah, that's one of the things about the novels. Like, this is one of those actually relevant novels in terms of in continuity, whereas like the Blade one or like the Decade one is horribly out of continuity and it's its own thing with Maki as a vampire and shit. Or not Maki, Narutaki as a vampire and shit. I probably said that before, but yeah, that happened. Narutaki is a vampire in the Decade novel.
You have.
Yeah. It's stupid and weird. But yeah, I like these two episodes. I like how we introduce Lonk. I like how we end up paralleling his entrance with Ankh's entrance in the flashback. Just in like, we are super reinforcing that like, this is just Ankh, except not him. And we have now set up kind of the stakes of when these two are in the same room. Anything else before we move on to the second half?
No.
All right, moving on to episodes 31 and 32. Starting off with 31, Gratitude, Scheming, and the Purple Metals. Ooh. We start off with Goto and Date talking with Eiji and Ankh on the info they found out. Apparently, Maki had something on him, or he took something with him before he left. They don't know what it is just yet, but we do see what it is as we cut to Maki, Kazari, and Lonk, and we see that it is this round container that contains a set of 10 purple core metals. And he plans to make a purple greed. Meanwhile, we check in with a loan office, as the employees are apparently fused with trash yummies. I guess, would be the best way to put it.
And I don't know how that works.
Uva using maybe some aspect of like Kazari's medals that he may or may not have. I don't know if he has any Kazari's medals.
I don't think he does.
So I'm not sure.
No, he don't, because Kazari's missing one medal.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
he
the
is.
one that Oz has.
Yeah.
So, no.
I don't know. But we see some guy drop by, pick up the medals that all of them spit out. They only spit out one medal apiece. He picks up the bag and he drops it off to Uva, who is apparently playing the long game as he is collecting cell medals oh so quietly. Do you love how Uva is probably the smartest one of the greets so far?
Yeah.
Where it's
Because,
like, I'm not greeting him.
He's managed to concoct a way to achieve his goal of getting cell medals, while at the same time not causing a yummy so that anyone else will know about it.
Yeah. And even to the point where it's like, even Anku's ability to detect yummies won't even detect it. Or even outright ignores it.
Is Ankh the only one that can do that? Or could
I
technically
assume
they all could?
I think all the greets could, or can, because of what we get to later.
It's just a case that they don't fool with it if it's amongst themselves.
Yeah. Like, I assume Kazari could have probably detected this and knew about this and was like, fuck it, I don't care. You don't have one of my core medals, why do I care?
I mean, maybe the only other thing would be because of him and Maki's plan of trying to have a vessel.
Yeah, but
like he would have
Kazari,
to get them cores at some point to be able to absorb all of them.
Right, but Kazari has been shown to not be wanting to absorb them very quickly, so why would I go get more when I'm not going to absorb them anyway?
I think it's more of a case of he's doing that to buck against Maki.
Yeah.
More so than it's a case of he don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Which is completely in his character.
Yeah.
But that's our cold open. Coming out of it, we're back at the Coast Cashier as a friend of Hina's is there to looking for advice from Edgy in order to deal with somebody who keeps dropping off money at their house every night for a while. I forgot how long they said it was. I think it's probably a couple months.
I honestly don't remember.
It's been long enough that it has implications that we'll get to in a bit. But Edgy agrees to stake the place out. We come back to Date and Goto. They're investigating Maki's former office, and they get a new Candroid, which is a Triceratops Candroid. I wonder what this is foreshadowing. We cut over to Kagami as he is pondering as he pours one out for something. I don't know what he's pouring it out for. On his floor, mind you.
For Maki leaving. Because that was his dialogue in this. I guess he's just basically at this point considering Maki dead to him.
I guess. I was just confused by it because I'm like, you're not a very sentimental person, I feel like. Why are you pouring one out for him? On your floor, even.
Either that or maybe for the purple core medals?
Probably. But yeah, Kagami reveals that he knows about the purple core medals, he knows Maki has them, and he is pondering, what am I not in the loop on now? What is your plan, Maki, in this chess game that I play with you? That I have pawns in? Question mark?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cutting to later that day, we see a guy. We see the guy, same guy we've been seeing, drop off the money, make his delivery to Uva. And he's the one dropping off the money. I don't remember either of their names. They end up not being super important in these 2 episodes, so they are friend of Hina and delivery guy.
And truthfully, he is only slightly important in the first episode.
He is here so Edgy can drop hermit wisdom.
And backstory.
Yes. But yeah, he's the one dropping off the money. And after Edgy confronts him, he agrees to see the girl. So the next day, we're at the Koskasir. Edgy and Hina have set up the meeting. And he's all excited and happy because it's like, oh, hey, I've been dropping off the money to this family because the teacher was helping me out. And, I'm just trying to help out the family. And then Hina's friend drops by and goes, please stop giving us money. My mom has turned into a very terrible parent who has been very lazy and has also taken out loans that are very bad for us. Please stop, please. You're kind of fucking up our lives. She leaves after this, and he proceeds to, rightly so, flip the fuck out over the fact of, oh fuck, I've just ruined these people's lives. Shit. So he books it out of the place, trying to figure out a way to fix it. Everyone else that is important follows suit, except Kyoko in the restaurant, who's just left going, God damn it, why can't I have Goto back? Because I like someone who's actually around here to help. But after they flag him down and try to talk things out with him, we end up seeing that the friend...
You say flag him down.
Well, Unk, rips him down because Unk doesn't give a fuck. Unk is in no mood after the last 2 episodes. He just wants shit done.
He's
but
like
we see the girl,
old man.
Yep. But we see that the girl is talking to 2 of the people from the loan office because they're the ones with the loans on the family. And now he's also realized he's perpetuated a cycle that makes this even worse. It makes him feel even worse about this because, wow, I've extremely fucked up about this. I've not only, been the cause of this, I'm the gear in the system keeping it in play.
Yep.
Fuck. So after this, he books it to the office to try to tell the boss, hey, let this family go, please. Stop taking loans out on them. Please, please, please. Which doesn't work, and then he's attacked by all the trash yummies that just pop at all of the people.
Still don't know how that works.
This is when Edgy and crew arrive, and Onk's like, we gotta take care of these trash yummies, so Edgy goes and fights them as Hina gets the guy out of there. Except the 2 of them then run into Uva, who's like, oh, you did good work for me. I'm gonna make a yummy out of you now. Bye. Because he needs to do one last fuck you to this guy, because I have to believe he knows.
Yeah, I have to think so too.
It's like, all right, fuck you. By the way, here's your severance.
Yeah.
So Edgy manages to clear out the trash, but we now have a runaway yummy in play. But can't deal with that just yet. We gotta deal with our guy, our delivery man here. He's down in dumps by the whole situation, but Edgy more or less passes on some personal experience that is hermit wisdom in the form of hermit wisdom to him of, yeah, you try to help out. Yeah, shit happened. That's what happens when you try to help people. Sometimes shit happens. We cut to the Yummy, who's doing his best Robin Hood impression of robbing a bank and then immediately spreading the money out to random people outside the bank. And it evolves into a moth Yummy that is now flying around, spreading money over the course of the entire town. But that ends up getting our heroes to get in pursuit. So they track down the Yummy, get it off, and get it out of the sky and on the ground, and fight it off. As a bunch of random people are picking up money and not seeing this Yummy monster fighting it right next to them. I'm not gonna lie, I love that part.
Yeah.
I also love how it.
No, go ahead. I think you're fixing to mention what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I also love how Date's like, well, I want to earn my money, and Goto's like, well, we probably shouldn't touch this money because, you know, all our experiences with Yummy so far, for all we know, this money will turn us into fucking, like, more money or something. Who knows? And I love also how he just one yell at all this group of people next to him. They look up, look, monster, then run.
Yep.
It's like, ooh, money, money. Oh, God, monster. So Date and Edgy are fighting the monster, but Uva ends up driving by to even the odds, which makes Edgy want to go Tajador, which he does. And the combination of him and Date manage to blow up the Yummy. But as this is happening, we see that the purple core metals back at Maki's place react and fly off, specifically 5 of them. But as they defeat the Yummy, Ankh ends up getting 2 medals from Uva. I think it's like a blue head medal and a white head medal.
Actually, I think I'm not remember.
Yeah. But yeah, Ankh now has a blue and white medal, which at the very least gives them a like Sagozo and Shishota from the end. It gives them Sagozo because they've had Shishota for a while. It gives them Sagozo now. But Edgy is ready to fight Uva, except the purple core metals fly in and embed themselves into Edgy, which ends up canceling his transformation and popping out the red core metals, and Uva gets one of them. I believe it's the Condor medal.
I believe you're right.
Yeah. I know which one he got then.
Yeah. Because I do know it does break it does break the Tajador combo.
Yep. So this leaves Edgy out cold, and Uva just bucks it, going, "Ha! I got one of your core medals. Fuck you. Bye." I'm winning anyway. And that's where we live off on episode 31. But as an interesting little note, this is technically the second to last appearance of Tajador in the series. Would you care to guess when we will see Tajador appear again?
I'm willing to bet probably really close to the end of the series.
Try the final episode.
Wow.
Yep. Tajador does not reappear again until the final episode of the series, where it is fairly important. Actually, no, it is very important for the final episode of the series. And also, when you were telling me about the budget for the story and stuff, the appearance of Tajador in the final episode is marked by one special thing that's not visual. It's only audible, what it is. But in the SIC toy line, when they did O's in the last couple years, did a special version of Tajador referencing this final episode of O's, and this I guess, specific version of Tajador. So if there was anything I would want budget for, it would be a special version of Tajador for this episode.
But I mean, would that really add anything to the story?
No, it would add something visual, and that would be it.
So, still kind of gets back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
Does not really need a big budget to be good, so I'm sure that's probably why the costumes were a thing.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on into episode 32, The New Greed, Emptiness, and the Invincible Combo. We're at the hospital as everyone is just waiting for test results. As a doctor who is a friend of Date comes in, shows them the x-ray, and they see nothing's wrong with Edgy. He's perfectly fine. There's totally not 5 core metals embedded in his chest at the moment.
Nah.
That won't show up on an x-ray.
As Onk so eloquently puts it.
But he pretty much tells them, oh, you just gotta wait for him to wake up, which they all start to have a conversation about this, and even they're like, oh, what the fuck's going on? And he's like, I don't know. Why do you always ask me what's going on? I don't have all the answers.
Like, this time I actually don't know.
Maybe you should go ask the other person that has all the answers all the time. Maybe he'll tell us what's going on.
Or lie more. One of the two.
Very true. But Edgy ends up waking up in the middle of this conversation, and he's like, fine. He's like, oh, hey, guys, what's going on? Because he has no idea what's going to happen to him. Oh boy, Edgy, are you in for a ride? But we see Maki and crew speculate on why the core metals entered him, and they think that it's because he would serve as a really good container. Since he has been using all of the core metals without any real issue. Also, Maki is completely unfazed by this as, this will be fine. I can work with this. Yeah, half your purple core metals just went and flew into your, probably your main problem for everything, and you're just like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But we end the cold open on 2 purple yummies being in play now. Specifically, if you recognize the suits, these are the 2 purple yummies from Movie War Core.
Yeah.
Yeah. For reference, these are not the exact same yummies because that movie's out of continuity, but they are the same suits. So those have been sitting in storage for 20 plus episodes until we got them.
Either that or those were already made beforehand and they were like, we'll use them here too. No one will remember.
But they plan to turn everything into nothing. This is not going to bode well for people, as we will find out. Coming out of the opening, we see the group head out. And we check in with the yummies and see that they spread a mist in a mall that makes people go poof. They're gone. Just pop, 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 pop. Just dozens of people just snapped out of existence like it's nothing. This is totally not horrifying. And we also see it takes a little bit for some of them to go as well, I believe.
Yeah.
This is really fucked up when you think about it. Jesus. Before we get to the mall, Edgy is talking to our delivery guy once again, delivering some more hermit wisdom that I think perfectly embodies his character.
Yeah, this
Because
one
we
definitely does.
Yeah, because we find out from him that he tried to do good on a big scale. Like, he tried to raise money for villages and stuff to help them, but like, less than scrupulous people got involved. So he ended up deciding, well, I can do this much, as he outstretches his hands, and I'm going to do this much. If I can do it with this much, do it in this range, I can do it. And he does it. More or less meaning he just does whatever was in front of, helps whoever he can in front of him. Doesn't worry about the big picture, doesn't worry about the grand scheme of the world, just tries to help whoever he can reach with his own hand. Which is extremely, like, his character.
Yeah.
The group ends up being alerted to the whole mall situation, so Eiji and Date end up being the ones to go after one of the yummies who drops by as they see mist pouring out of the one of the buildings. They prove no match for the yummy that is even able to cancel Eiji's transformation, which is not good, because we've established that Date's not on Eiji's level, power-wise. So if our powerhouse is out, we're kind of fucked. And I do like that they've kind of established that over the course of, like, yeah, Date is useful, Birth is useful, but he's not the same kind of powerhouse and versatile arsenal that Eiji has as O's. So the two of them end up stuck under a stairwell as they try to figure out, like, what the fuck to do. But then we see that people are trapped in a mall, or end up, like, trapping themselves in the mall to kind of stay away from the yummies, which the yummies take notice of by this point. And Eiji's like, no, I can't leave them. Let them. I can't leave them be. I gotta save them. And then he almost gets shot by one of the yummies. And Date has to pull him back and is like, yo, hey, you gotta say, like, help yourself first, and, like, make sure that you're alive and not dead and capable before you try to save other people, which Eiji kind of brushes off as, like, I can't do that. Which is also extremely telling of his character. But as he tries to save them, the yummies kind of, like, make an explosion, which I don't think kills anybody, but I guess injures people, including Eiji. So, back at the Kuskasir that night, Date is the one who has to patch him up and pretty much lays down, and it's like, Eiji doesn't really prioritize his own life. He prioritizes other people above himself. Like, to a very bad point. To a point that will get him killed at some point. And this is when it finally clicks for him of, like, where he's seen Eiji before. And as it turns out, Eiji's the son of a politician. And the whole village and stuff he tried to save, it was covered up a bit and tried to, like, spun to be better than it was. But the entire event broke him. Like, internally has broken Eiji to the point of he has no desire. He has no grand wish of some sort. He's, like, kind of empty on the inside. And helping people is, like, the only thing that gives him, like, anything at this point. But this whole situation is not unlike Maki, which is probably the more of the reason why the purple core medals went to him than him being a compatible container, as we'll find out. At which point, Kagami ends up dropping by because he has a birthday cake to deliver, because there is a new birthday, and it's the birth of the Purple Greed. Technically it's two, but I don't know if Kagami knows that or not, or he's willing to tell them or not. Because, I'll say it now, Eiji and Maki are on their way to becoming a Greed. To becoming Greed. Or pseudo-Greeds, I guess. However you want to put it. that sounding right? Tommy?
Yep.
No. So what I just said sound right?
Sorry, run that again.
Maki dropped by to deliver the birthday cake about the birth of the purple greed. Technically, it's 2 purple greeds because both Edgy and Maki are now are on the path to becoming greeds. Or pseudo greeds, however you want to describe it.
Yeah.
Okay. But the next day, we're at an amusement park where the yummies are attacking again. Edgy and Date try to fight him again. Doesn't work. Edgy, all he manages to accomplish is to save a little girl who was like behind something, but his transformation gets canceled again. But when the yummy tries to fire on him, the purple core or 3 of the purple core metals shoot out and block the shots and insert themselves into the driver and forcibly transform Edgy into Putotera. So say hello to Oz's final form. Well, officially speaking, Oz's final form. I disagree with it partially, but for official sake, this is Oz's final form. Which you were mentioning about the greeds sensing the other yummies. Bowing. But that point you mentioned, did you notice the thing about Edgy's reaction before they went to the amusement park?
I don't think I did, actually.
Edgy can now sense the yummies. I'll kind of spoil that now, but
yeah.
Yeah, when his eyes flash and stuff, yeah, he actually sensed the yummy. He didn't know he sensed the yummy, but he sensed the yummy. Or yummies in this case. So yeah, the other greeds can sense the other yummies. But back to where we currently are in the episode, Edgy in Putotera pretty much obliterates the yummies, and also in the only instance of the scanning charge of Putotera. This is the one and only time you'll see it in series. Every other time, he's using the Metagabria, I believe is how it's pronounced. The axe cannon.
The ground axe cannon?
Yeah, the ground axe cannon that also burps. It does have a sound effect of burp. As it literally eats metals to turn into the cannon. But yeah, the yummies are blown up, and then Edgy starts attacking Date, because Edgy is in a blind berserk, like cold berserk state when he's in Putotera right now. So he has kind of no idea what he's doing. Because he's more or less possessed by the metals. But the attack is stopped by Hina actually literally getting in the way of the axe and talking Edgy down. Which manages to shake him out of it. And we are kind of left there. But our final scene is Maki taking in the remaining of the remaining 5 core metals, purple core metals he has, and showing, yeah, he's the one who created those yummies before, and he makes one out of the candelabra he used to kill his sister. So we have 2 purple greeds in play now, each with 5 core metals. So, how'd you feel coming out of these 2 episodes?
I feel like this one was kind of just dropped on our lap.
Yeah.
Because it all was contained within this arc. There wasn't a lead into it. And I guess I kind of feel like that's not the best way of going about that, because we didn't know the purple core metals existed before this.
Yeah, I think your only indication would have been some type of extrapolation of things in play. from movie war core. Because technically, the greed that that is referenced in movie war core that doesn't actually exist, that's the one that should be born from the purple core metals. Keyword being should. It isn't. And also, like, the origin of the purple core metals, I think, is muddled in the episode, because I think Kagami says they were born in modern times, but the vessel and stuff that they're in suggest ancient times.
Yeah. Like, is it bad that I almost feel like that should have been split between 4 episodes rather than 2?
Yeah.
Like, okay, what I think would have worked better, in all seriousness, if we had a little bit of introduction maybe to the purple core metals when we gave Ank's backstory.
Yeah.
Even if it was just alluding to he found something else with Wonk's body.
Mm-hmm.
That way maybe it would kind of start putting it in play and kind of do more of a slow reveal.
Mm-hmm. Or even, like, move out this fight until, like, the next 2 episodes. So, like, we end this 2-parter with Edgy getting the purple core metals. And that, like, we're starting to investigate the core metals going into the next 2 episodes. And then, like, the end of that 2-parter is Puto Terra's debut.
Yeah. I still feel like in the last 2-parter we probably should have had some kind of maybe not necessarily know it was the purple core metals, but maybe some kind of tease as to that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we still could have led into this one with Maki stole something, and maybe they knew the item he stole but didn't know what was contained within the item.
Yeah. Although there's a weird...
Because, you know, now that I'm thinking about it too, the container for the purple core metals, it almost looks like a stone version of the shield that Tajador has.
Yeah.
So I honestly think that probably would have been a good way to kind of tease it in.
Mm-hmm. Actually, let me look. I'm not... I was looking to see if there was full backstory on, like, what they were. I don't think there is. I don't think we really get into the creation of the purple core metals.
Which means that there's a whole section there that kind of is lost.
Yeah. I mean, we see from, like, technically not the image I have pulled up, but the tree with all the core metals on them, the purple core metals are disconnected from all of them. The tree I'm looking at is the updated one with the CSM metals. I think we've seen this tree. I think we've seen this tree before in series. I think it's briefly seen in, like, 30 in, like, one of the cases. I was about to say this. That's the updated tree with the CSM metals. Which, there's no spoilers for the series there. It's just, hey, here's all the other metals, like the official, like, animal metals that came out, like, after this point that were in, like, the Telebeacon specials and whatnot, and then all the CSM ones that come in Megamax.
But yeah, I see what you mean, and Putoterra is kind of just down there.
Yeah. Let me see if I can grab a quick screenshot of that. Of the original one. Scamming, scamming, scamming. Just go at half speed. See if I can find it. Because I'm pretty sure you can spot it in this. Barely, but it's there. It's not the best look at it, but that's the original tree. Which is more or less the updated tree, but cut out all the extra stuff. But even then, Putoterra is not there.
At all.
Yeah. So yeah, Putoterra is kind of like an oddball in this case, which it's not the reason I don't count it as the solo final form. There's a reason I count it as Putoterra and Tajador, because again, they both are important to the series overall. I mean, there's a reason Tajador is out of play the entire time Putoterra is in play for like the rest of O's. That's because we're playing with the dual-sided nature that these two sides represent, the like a life of desire and a life like lacking desire. Yeah, I still like the two episodes. I just wish Putoterra, like the Purple Core Males, had a little bit more to them. Anything else?
No.
Alright then, next week we're continuing the series in general. We are not at a movie yet. We're not at a movie until, I think, a couple episodes from now. I think we'll end up getting like an opening for O's Wonderful before we hit. Yeah, we have 2 more episodes left, or 2 more batches of episodes before we are looking at O's solo film, O's Wonderful. But anything else?
No.
Alright then, if you enjoy what you're following, or what you're watching, give us a follow. We really appreciate it. This week will be a bit what you should be expecting for a while. Me doing Yuka Zero and 3 Houses on Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, we're starting up Minish Cap, I believe.
Yep.
And Saturday is the podcast where we'll be talking about some of the stuff that came out at EVO. Nothing super surprising, but there's some reveals at EVO we'll probably end up talking about. And whatever else was in the news or going to be in the news. So, for Tommy, I'm Peace. Good night, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday.